Since Five Nights at Freddy's came out more than a decade ago, there has been one thing that has been bothering me since the moment I started playing the game. And no, I'm not talking about Purple Guy's motives or whatever the hell is up with these doors. Nah. It's something else. Something that's been bothering me. What's this guy's deal? Welcome back to the Golden Family, everyone. My name is Miner, and on TikTok recently, I told you guys that I'm going to be graduating soon. In fact, breaking the fourth wall right here, you can literally see my cap and gown right up there. And knowing that, I decided that we're going to start taking this channel more seriously and start actually pursuing it as an actual job. And I thought, why don't we start this new chapter of the Golden Family with a good old-fashioned theory video. But this time, we're not going to do it like we used to. This time, we're doing it in front of the green screen. And I thought we'd start with probably the most obscure character in all of Five Nights at Freddy's history, the Phone Guy. Quick recap for those of you who need it. Voiced by the creator of the series, Scott Cawthon himself, he was introduced in the first Five Nights at Freddy's game and has been a very important character. He told us a lot of things like how the doors work, how to turn on the lights, stuff like that. He even told us a lot about the animatronics themselves, like saying they were on a night cycle, blah 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 blah, all that. He was also seen in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and briefly in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, accompanied by another phone person by the name of Phone Dude. You can tell that is probably a different person based on, like, you know, how the guy speaks. Like, here's Phone Guy.
I wanted to record a message for you to help you get settled in on your first night.
And here's Phone Dude.
Hey, glad you came back for another night. I promise it'll be a lot more interesting this time.
He was also in the semi-remakes of the original 3 games in the Five Nights at Freddy's VR game, as well as a very distorted version of him that you can hear in the background of Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Now, honestly, he's a very interesting character, but his true identity has always been kept vague. Who is he? We've never gotten any true confirmation. There isn't even a singular page about him in the Five Nights at Freddy's character encyclopedia, and I should know, I've read every single page. And same with the novels, I also thoroughly enjoyed them. Seriously guys, if you haven't picked one up yet, go do it, they are really good. They're a really good read, especially if you're a new FNAF player. Not to mention how much lore they give off, and just how many books there are. Okay, chill out, guys. Okay, maybe just a little bit too many. But back to our conversation. Phone Guy. Who is he? Today we're going to take a look at the top 3 most common theories about Phone Guy. The first one was actually pointed out when Five Nights at Freddy's 2 first released by MatHat. And it's a pretty widely accepted one. Do you guys have any guesses? If you said that the Phone Guy was actually secretly the Purple Guy, you would be correct. And there was quite a bit of evidence to prove it. First off, in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Phone Guy points out that Foxy was always one of his favorites.
Foxy ever repair the hallway? Probably not. I was just curious. Like I said, he was always my favorite.
And I mean, understandable. We're given this without any context whatsoever, which you really don't need any because Foxy's pretty freaking awesome. I mean, me and him literally meet up every Saturday for Monopoly. I mean, Foxy's a homie. And people say that this is important because during the Foxy Go 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 minigame, when we are playing as Foxy, we can literally see Purple Guy smiling at the sight of Foxy running. Now, you could just chalk this up to him being happy about seeing the dead kids. Or at least that would be the case if Phone Guy had not said this.
I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking that it can go anywhere.
Keeping this in mind, we are fully aware that William's first victim, Charlotte, was actually the one who possessed the puppet. And we all know that William doesn't trust the puppet. Also, if you go back to the Night 4 message of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, you can actually hear Phone Guy die.
I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. You know. Oh no.
Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take this footage of William Afton's death, and we're going to overlay that audio.
Back there. You know. Oh no.
know about you, but I'd say it's a match. Assuming this theory is correct, he was probably wearing one of those ear things that allows you to talk to someone while not holding your phone. They probably didn't have those, but this is FNAF. Logic makes no sense. And I could totally imagine this being the point where the audio cuts out. But let's go back to the minigames thing. If you go back to the Save Them minigame in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, you'll see this model of William Afton. You can actually get quite a bit of information from this model. First off, look at his hand. It appears to be in the shape of a phone, or, you know, it could just be his hand. But also, if you look at his chest, you can see what appears to be a badge. Meaning that at one point or another, William Afton was a security guard. And we know for a fact that Phone Guy was also at one point a security guard, since he tells us at the end of FNAF 2 he was going to take a shift, and at the beginning of FNAF 1 he says that he's about to finish his last week.
When the place eventually opens again, I'll probably take the night shift myself. Okay, good night and good luck.
I actually worked in that office before you. I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact, so...
Real quick, before we continue, if you guys are enjoying this video so far, how about you guys consider hitting that subscribe button right there? Remember, it is completely free, and you can always change your mind later. Also, be sure to comment what your favorite FNAF character is. Mine is Scrap Baby. You guys already know she is my favorite, but I want to know what yours is. So does this mean that William Afton and Phone Guy are basically confirmed to be one and the same? Not so fast, guys. First off, the messages that we hear were actually recorded years prior to the actual games. In FNAF 1 Night 4, we are told that he recorded these messages before his death.
I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you when I did.
And in Night 1 of FNAF 2, we are told that this is a quote-unquote summer job.
Hello and welcome to your new summer job at the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
But if you look at those paychecks, this does not take place in the summer. Also, let's go back to William Afton's death. Let's just like reverse that and go back to moments before his death. We literally see him dismantling the animatronics. So if these two are meant to be one and the same, why are these guys still kicking? Now you could take into consideration the death from the film and the books, but there are multiple issues with this. Like, first off, I know I'm probably going to get some hate for this, but I don't care. I don't consider the movie canon. And second, there's an entire debate about the book's canonicity, so I don't know about that one either. But let's take both into consideration real quick. They both technically died of spring lock incidents, and the animatronics were dragging both of them into the back rooms. No, not those back rooms, but they were both dragged into the back rooms of the pizzeria to die. That's not really what I would consider being killed by the animatronics like the Night 4 phone call would indicate. But that does kind of bleed into the second theory, stating that the Phone Guy is not William Afton, but rather his son, Michael Afton. Now I know there are many holes in this theory, and that's like the biggest leap in logic ever. Not to mention the fact that, once again, we literally hear him die in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. And if you do the same trick we did with William Afton's death, with Michael Afton's death, it just doesn't add up. Not to mention him burning in FNAF 6 and maybe possessing Glamrock Freddy. But I am not discussing them in this video. That is a topic for another video. But again, like I said earlier, FNAF logic just makes no sense. And also, knowing William Afton and Michael Afton, if either one of them is the one from that phone call, knowing them, they're probably going to survive that anyway. Now, while there is a lot of evidence to disprove this theory, there's still quite a bit to prove it. Like, first off, look at the paychecks. We see whoever we're playing as getting fired for tampering with the animatronics as well as their smell, which, by the way, let me just point out, that is a terrible reason to fire someone. So, Fazbear Entertainment, could you guys, like, you know, fix that? But still, I'd say that makes more sense for him to be the night guard rather than the phone guy. But even then, if we assume that this is taking place after the scooping incident, which it probably isn't, but if we assume it is, then we can assume that he is a rotting corpse by now. I mean, hell, we literally see him walking down the street as a rotting corpse, so we can assume he'd probably smell pretty bad. And as for the tampering with the animatronics, well, we know Michael wants to right his father's wrongs, so logically, he would want to study the animatronics and figure out a way to free the souls. Now I know what you guys are probably screaming at me in the comments. Minor, why are you talking about the paychecks? And also, it was the night guard who got fired, not Michael Afton. Well, that brings us into our next point. First off, it has been pretty widely accepted that Mike Schmidt is probably an alias for Michael Afton. And another thing, if you look at the ending of Five Nights at Freddy's 2, you'll see this screen right here. Here we can see that this letter is being made out to Fritz Smith. Now, a couple theories I have heard in my life is that Fritz Smith is actually another name for the phone guy. And yes, I am fully aware that this is probably not what Fritz Smith looks like. It's just a photo that I found on the internet. But then I heard that Fritz could also be an alias used by Michael Afton. Taking both of those two into account, that could be clear evidence that Michael Afton is the phone guy. And like I said, guys, that theory just has like so many holes in it, and honestly, in my opinion, the William Afton theory makes more sense. But there's one more theory that, in my opinion, trumps both of them. The most likely answer is that phone guy is none of them. He's not William Afton, he's not Michael Afton, he's not Mike Schmidt, he's not Jeremy Fitzgerald, he's not Fritz Smith. He's probably just some ordinary dude who happens to be a night guard, happens to have recorded those messages for us, and happened to have gotten on the wrong end of Freddy's jaws. And there you have it, guys. There's my analysis on the top 3 biggest phone guy theories. Or, well, that I've heard. But still, taking everything that I just said in this entire video into account, I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. Who is the phone guy? Is he William Afton? Is he Mike Schmidt? Debate it in the comments. I want to hear what you guys say. And yeah, guys, with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give this video a like, comment down below what you guys thought, and of course, subscribe for more videos. Also, you guys can hit that bell icon to receive notifications so you never miss another upload. Remember, guys, we upload nearly every single day. You guys do not want to miss a single upload because we have a lot of stuff planned. And if you guys want to see how absolutely terrible I am at Dead by Daylight, watch this video right here. Or if you guys don't want to watch that, YouTube has specifically picked that video out for you. We'll also throw a playlist right there because why not? And as always, guys, this is Minor signing off for now. I love every single one of you guys. You guys are awesome. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.